Welcome back, everybody. Now, there is no more pain and suffering when you accept that pain and suffering are actually part of living. And that's a phrase from the book PANACHE, The Spirit of Life, written by Switzerland-based author Dr Cheryl Lassen. Now, in this inspirational offering, she takes us into the convoluted world of Matilda, a 50-year-old woman who embarks on a life-changing spiritual journey in a quest to finding a deeply fulfilling and joyful life. Well, without of course, giving away too much, Dr. Lassen is in studio with us this morning to take us through the contents of this book. Dr. Lassen, it's always good to see you. The name Dr. Lassen is always synonymous with a fun read. It's always good to see you. Welcome.
Yes, I'm delighted to be here, Simpiwe.
Now, Dr. Lassen, when you say there's no more pain and suffering, when you accept that pain and suffering are actually part of living, I know that so many people will find that hard to believe, especially those who battle with the prospects of coming to terms with pain and suffering during their lives. I
can fully understand that. And when I went on this journey, writing the book through this character Matilda. Matilda means strength in battle, and strength is about having mental strength. Okay. And so the mental strength that we have, this gives us the ability to manage what's going on in our minds. So we can actually tame our minds, okay. And we tame what's going on inside of us. So we are able to control our bodies. And because of that, we can reach a higher sense of self. When we reach that higher sense of self, we can call it a spiritual being, if we are spiritual, sure. Or we can call it the soul, if we're religious. Okay. And when we reach that level, the pain and the suffering we acknowledge. We're all going to have pain and suffering. Mm-hmm. When we acknowledge that we have pain and suffering, the pain and suffering dissipates. Okay. And when that pain and suffering dissipates, you can live every day of your life in joy and with complete freedom. Right. And the title, as you know, the Spirit of Life, PANACHE, the Spirit of Life. The Spirit of Life is living life in that sense of freedom. Mm-hmm.
I mean, now that you've painted a picture of Matilda, is that she's a symbol of strength and a symbol of, a sense of purpose. I understand that there's so many similarities and commonalities between you and Matilda in the sense that you both grew up in apartheid South Africa, but then pretty much the bulk of this book is more, is based on your own life story.
Yes, it is. And I think it's easier when you are writing to use your own life story. And my own life story, growing up in a poor colored community, we were not white, we were not black. We were confused, and there was a lot of things going out there, gangsterism, people taking drugs. There was a lot happening. And in that community, I started to realize that there was a way to distance yourself from it. And the way to distance yourself from it was to control what was going on inside of you. Mm-hmm. And by controlling what was going on inside of you, you could say, if what's happening outside isn't important, but what's happening inside of me. And yes, the character Matilda is a combination of different characters that I put together. And a large portion of the character actually is about the way that I had lived my life through those very challenging years growing up during apartheid.
There's a time when she questioned love, peace, and intimacy to a point where she even got to a state where she paid for her own love life. Take us through that.
Okay, yes. Because what happens in life is we all have these automatic negative thoughts. They call them ants now. And we have these automatic negative thoughts, and these thoughts can actually control our life. And what we are expected to do, and what the character does, and we have to work on this every single day, is saying, what do I do with those negative thoughts? Do I entertain them, or do I let them go away and actually only take the thoughts that are going to be meaningful for me? And those are the thoughts that I'm going to now take into the future. So yes, Matilda, through her love life, went through this state of confusion where there was all of this conflict going on. And we all have this conflict. And at the end of the conflicts, what we have to do is we have to integrate the self. And only through the integration of the self was she able to come out on the other end completely in self-love. So the paying for love in the beginning of the love story and the love journey that you read through the book ends up with actual self-love.
That's actually a very powerful dynamic there, Dr. Lassen. And Matilda is always planning or is going somewhere. And, for the most part, she's chasing something. Take us through some of those things that she was chasing that meant a great deal in her life.
Yes. Okay, so and we all have ambitions. And so we want to go and we want to fast forward the chronometer. And we want to push things a little further than where they should be. And so Matilda travels all over the world. She has this amazing a life that is happening outside. But it wasn't about what was happening outside, it was actually what was happening inside. So she exposes these thoughts, the depthness of her thoughts, the depthness of her emotions, and she exposes this on all of her journeys all over the world, and all through all the experiences that she has. And this then allows the individual in the character to rise above those thoughts and starts to communicate with herself and communicate with the world.
Yeah, yeah. You also talk of the law of the spirit of life. What is it?
The law of the spirit of life is from Romans 8, verses 2. And the law of the spirit of life sets us free from the law of sin and sets us free from the law of death.
Whoa, whoa. Okay. Wow, I could go on and on and on. But thank you so much, Dr. Lassen. Unfortunately, we have to leave it there. Great read it is.
Thank you very much.
An absolute masterpiece. Where can you get hold of a copy?
It's in all the bookstores throughout South Africa, and it's also on Amazon. You can order it, and there's an ebook on Amazon as well.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Great stuff. All the best, Dr. Lassen. Well, a big thank you to Dr. Cheryl Lassen for making the time to join us in the studio this morning to talk about her book titled PANACHE, The Spirit of Life. Pearl, it's over to you.